Hey YouTube, thanks for stopping by the channel and thanks for clicking play today. Today we're going to be installing a new front lip here that we received from Paragon Performance. Corey, thank you very much. We appreciate the help here. I'm going to show you guys what happened here in just a second, but we ended up catching a toolbox. I-285 is a minefield around Atlanta of just, if you have a nice car, it's just attracted to all the stuff. So let me go over this. I'm going to show you guys the damage we're going to be replacing and get into the install. All right, so this is the damage I'm talking about. So I was going to work one day and gonna meet up with somebody the next day to do some footage, and toolbox came off the back of a pickup truck and I managed to just miss it and clip it here. No damage to the rim, thank goodness, but right through the PPF into the thing. It's probably actually not terribly bad, but I wanted the carbon fiber anyway. I've been kind of waiting for that. And then when I told Corey about this, he ended up sending me the carbon fiber one, so we can go ahead and get that on. So, but just wanted to show you guys the damage here. The trick really is not hard. You know, again, access to a lift over here at Brandon's is easier, but there's a ton of these. I'm gonna count them when I'm done to see, but you can see all these T30 bits here. Like there's tons of them. So this will come off, this panel, this panel, this panel, and then you'll have to get in behind the front liner. I don't think we're gonna have to take the wheel off to get to that, but we will, and then we'll get it. And I'll show you the packaging here in just a second. All right, so let's see this here. Packing, packed very nicely, very safe. Wow, look at the, man, that looks good. That's gonna be a huge upgrade for us. We have to get this PPF'd as soon as possible, but man, one piece of carbon fiber. That's strong. That's gonna be awesome. All right, the other two pieces, I'm not gonna bore you with the unboxing. We'll get into the install here in just a second. Okay, and like I said here, a ton of these T30s coming out. There's a bunch of them, so I'm just kind of going across the front. I'm gonna get those middle panels off. I'm gonna get these middle panels off here in a second. There's some 7mm back there, but I'm gonna just kind of get the majority of the T30s out and get them. But as you can see, lots of them. All right, so one of the spots I figured out kind of tricky in behind this little air dam here. There's 3 T30s as well, and there's a couple up there that you'll have to, those aren't immediately visible when you're underneath getting the front off. And then coming around here, you'll see these 7mm that I was talking about before, that they're here, so. Okay, I've got the 2 7mm off over here. I'm gonna take this one out here. And we just happen to park it just so perfectly on the lift that as this comes down, it'll just sit right here on the lift. But you do not have to take that air dam off from the other side that I had. It is actually connected to this piece. You don't have to take that off, just kind of FYI for you there, guys. And then once you have all these out and then the 7mm in the back, this just kind of slides down and then it'll slide out here just like so. And done. That's the first panel. So we'll get this middle panel, this front panel, and then get the lip off. So funny enough, pulled that panel off, this one here, all right? Magically a 10mm socket appeared. Where do they come from? Where do they go? I don't know, but there you go, 10mm socket. All right, so up in here in these slots are 7mm as well, because this part of the plate actually comes down and connects. It's pretty heavy. It looks like it's for impact because it's pretty heavy duty there. And we're gonna take those out, loosen it so we can get this off, and then we'll start getting the bolts out around the outside to get the lip off. All right, so I've got all those 7mm out, and this piece just comes right off. And there we go, it's off. Okay, so now we're at the part of pulling the lip off, and you can see it goes the whole way around, but this is probably the best angle I can show you here on these bolts here that'll have to come out all the way with a few 7mm, but most of them are 7mm, and we will use a hand ratchet because you're not gonna be able to get the power tool in there. But that's really kind of the last step, and we'll go from there.
Okay, so that milk is on there. You need at least 3 batteries for 3 heating cycles.
All right, guys, so I've got all the buttons out, or the bolts out. You can see how many there were. And then there's these tabs that you'll see here that we'll have to disconnect when we pull off, but it's unbolted and ready to come off. You can actually see the carbon fiber paint on the overlay, actually. They paint a lot of it. All right, so one of the things here, these are the clips that the screws go in. So you want to take them, and you're gonna use needle nose and squeeze them together so you can then pop them out of the factory location, pop them into the new location on the carbon fiber one, and then you're gonna use a screwdriver or something, get in there, and then whoop, pry it open so it holds in there. And you'll have to do it, there's one on either the outside, and then there's 2 on the inside, on the inner piece, because it's 3 separate pieces. All right, I have to say, Paragon, whoever designed this for you, good job that you can get this wrench in here to get this bolt, because it's almost impossible on the factory, but you can get a small wrench in the way this is designed and cut out here with the extra room. Thank you, because the factory ones were terrible. Okay, so just put it back down off the lift onto the ground. I mean, we're still on the lift, but on the ground. And just wanted to kind of see basically reverse order of everything we did for the stock to put the carbon fiber version back on. Same thing, the Z06, Z07 style wing. Okay, short of my grubby fingerprints on it, which I will get cleaned off before the track tomorrow. There's only one little bitty thing it didn't quite pull together there. I'll talk to Corey Paragon about that, but the install itself is not very hard, guys, but it is time consuming. I hope you have patience for it, but I wanted to just kind of see the finished product. You'll see more in the way of seeing it out in the sunshine with the rest of the stuff tomorrow, but wanted to kind of give you what it looks like out here, and then I'll let you guys kind of see it in the sun. Looks good, man. I like it. Again, we had the damage to ours, but wanted to do the carbon fiber anyway, was waiting on this piece anyway from Paragon, and Corey came to the rescue for us. We really appreciate that. But the install itself, not terrible. Okay, I want to peel off this PPF because I really do want to see the extent of the protection, the damage, to see if it went through. I know it scuffed some of the paint because I can see it, but to see how good this performed. I know on Brandon's car, it performed awesome when he got struck by the tire. So, get this on here so you guys can see a little better. So it did go through the PPF and it did catch the paint pretty good, but it could have been much, much worse. But just wanted to see there. So, and that's all I have as far as that goes. But I'm really actually impressed with the way it performed in general. But I mean, you hit a toolbox at 50 miles an hour and that's all you get. That's pretty good. And I'm very fortunate it didn't catch above it. Up into the actual, fender of the front grille or into the rim. It didn't hit either of those. So I'm very fortunate with that. But I just wanted to check that now that I had them off. All right, guys. So we just got the car down off the lift. We got the install done. One thing I would like to say before I kind of move forward: if you don't have PPF on the front end of your car, it's probably not a bad idea to tape off the parts of your car where you're going to be trying to press the splitter up against so you don't scratch or mar your surface. And if you do have PPF, I mean, you can put painter's tape over it anyway so you're not messing up your PPF. But that definitely was helpful because there are going to be some times where you're kind of pushing over, pushing under, trying to get it to fit, and you just don't want to scratch up your surface. So just a little tip there for you guys before we get going. All right, YouTube, that's it for the install today. Again, it wasn't that hard. It's not that difficult. But what I will say for you guys is have a lot of patience. For 2 things. One, there are tons and tons of those little screws, the T15 bolts all the way around, and then there's multiple pieces you have to take off to get it. And then getting the factory pieces off of the 3-piece splitter to put onto the carbon fiber splitter is not easy as well. And some spaces you can just use a box end wrench, and that's really all you can get in there. and it takes a while. So patience. The other thing is getting it lined up and getting it back together. And then when you get it back in, of course, nothing ever fits like factory. This was a really good fit. It really wasn't terrible to get it lined up. There's only that one spot I showed you that I don't think it lines up as well as it probably could. Maybe that's a me issue. I don't think so, because Brandon and I were both working on this tonight. But I will check with Corey on that. But again, for the most part, great piece, great look. You know, this is exactly what I wanted. The install, again, guys, is not hard. Do not be afraid to do this. Just make sure you have time to do it, because it's going to take you several hours, no kidding, and patience, and you'll be fine. Just move slow, move careful, and you'll be fine. It's just patience and time consuming, a lot more time consuming than I thought it was going to be, but it wasn't a hard install. Okay, guys, if you haven't already, guys, like, share, and subscribe. Help us keep bringing you good content like this. Thank you, Corey from Paragon. We do appreciate the rescue at the last minute. Guys, we will catch you next time, and until then, stay safe.